The following interview involves commercial content. The products and services featured appear as paid advertising.
There's a spot running on the TV airwaves reminding parents that any time is a great time to talk with your kids about alcohol and drugs. Here it is.
Hey bud, what will you do if there's alcohol at the party? As a parent, it's my job to ask important questions. There's always a good time to talk with my child. Learn how to talk with your child at speaknowcolorado.org.
And speaknowcolorado.org, they actually give statewide efforts to give families the tools they need to help talk to their kids and make sure that their kids understand and not having to deal with peer pressure around alcohol and, of course, drugs. Joining me today, Dr. Robert Valek. He's a professor with the CU School of Pharmacy, and Emily Schrader, a mom and counselor who has worked with young people in substance abuse issues. It's great to have you on the show, especially as a mom of two teenage boys. I mean, this is such an important topic. And Dr. Valek, you say one of the best things that parents can do to prevent their kids from trying alcohol or drugs is just to sit and talk with them.
Yes, that's right. You'd be surprised. As a parent myself as well, you sometimes think kids might not be listening to you, but there's a lot of research that shows that kids actually really do hear what you're saying, and the messages do get through. So it's very important that we talk to our kids and understand that it really does make an impact and help them.
At what age should we start having those conversations?
Believe it or not, the research even shows that as young as you're able to have the conversations, when kids are 5 or 6 years old, kindergarten age, first grade age, is appropriate to start talking with them even about some of these complicated issues like alcohol and drugs.
I was shocked when my oldest is 17, but as he was going through school, in elementary school, they were talking about drugs and everything. I was shocked that kids that young were doing it. Emily, you're also a mom. How old is your child?
She's 5.
She's 5 years old, and have you already talked to her about substance abuse?
I have. Her dad and I have talked to her about tobacco use already.
Okay, so like cigarettes and other things that have. And what kinds of words do you use? I mean, at a 5-year-old, does she understand?
She does. We use very concrete language with her, just like we warn her of other dangers, like crossing the street without holding someone's hand. Very concrete language to say, this is something that's not good for you, this is something that's dangerous, and so she can understand it at that level.
And doctor, right around the corner, there are some really big events for kids. Prom, dances, obviously there might be some alcohol or drugs present. How do you begin to have that conversation, and what do you suggest to the kiddos?
We suggest that you do a couple of things. One is to acknowledge that this is a reality, that those things exist and they will be present. And secondly, that it's really important for them to make a plan, that if they're in a situation where there are alcohol or drugs present, that they know that there is a plan that they can take and steps they can take to keep themselves safe and not necessarily get into trouble.
Let's talk more about that plan. Like, I've always told my oldest son, if you're around somebody and they've been drinking, do not get in the car with them. Call me, you won't get in trouble, we'll talk about it. Is that a good plan, or what should we do? What should we suggest?
I think that's an excellent plan. My parents use the same thing with me, and I've used it with my own kids, and I've heard many others say the same. That's a very good one, is that there's no penalty for calling 24 hours a day.
Right.
And if you just say, Mom or Dad, I need a ride, that we can come and do that, pick you up a block away so you don't have to be aware.
Get embarrassed
with your friends. But tell your friends you're going for a walk around the block, or you're going to go see Johnny down the street, and say hi to them and get picked up by your parent. Or in this day and age, I've told my kids the same. Take an Uber, I will pay for it. I don't care. I just want you to be safe.
That's such good advice and valuable advice. How do you suggest to get teens on board, Emily, when you're having these kind of conversations? A lot of times you'll see the eye roll, or they want to kind of tune you out.
Yeah. So it's really important that we open the door for our kids to have these conversations with us, to be non-judgmental, be a safe place where they can come and ask questions and get real answers, and be real with them about the answers of the questions they're asking.
There's also a thought, and doctor, you may have some advice on this, scare tactics. Those work. Scare the child. What do you feel about that, and what are some of those tactics that people use?
And everybody's seen those way back to the dare kinds of things, or this is the fried egg, this is your brain on drugs kinds of things. And they're tempting, they sound tempting to use, but most of the research shows that they don't work. That scare tactics with kids or adolescents of almost any age don't work. What does work is showing them awareness, speaking with them just as person to person at that level, not speaking down to someone, and sharing information with them about dangers to make them aware of dangers and then making plans to avoid them. That works. Talking
to them more as an adult.
Yes.
Got it. And you have a different approach, don't you, Emily? Instead of scare tactics, obviously.
Yeah. As we know, as Dr. Valek said, the scare tactics just don't work. So what we like to do instead is to engage the adolescent or the child on their level, to be an open door for them to come and ask the questions, to give them real answers, because kids have access to the internet. If we give them an answer that just doesn't sound right to them, they're going to look something up, and then they're going to think that we're lying to them just to scare them. So yeah, really positive approach.
And if mom and dad are lying to you, why talk to them about anything else in the future? So open, honest adult.
Yeah.
Thank you both for coming on the show. This is a very important conversation that we all need to have with our children. It's time to talk to your kids about substance use and abuse. You're not alone. There are tools and resources available to help you navigate the conversation. Please go to this website. It's speaknowcolorado.org. That's speaknowcolorado.org. There you're going to find a lot of information for parents, for teachers, or any other organization. We can better protect kids and give them the know-how to avoid substance use and abuse.